911 operator.
What's your emergency? Should be the title, it's not, but this is actually an emergency service management simulator.
The story is you have just finished your training to be a 911 phone operator, and now you have the power to decide who gets help and who gets ignored.
And this game offers tutorial, of course, career mode, and free mode. If you enter career mode, there's actually 3 other sub-modes, which is single city run, unique city stories, and daily routine. In each one, you can choose out of many main cities all over the world, like Melbourne, even Prague,
which is where we are.
So many more.
Lots of major cities in the US. Once you choose a mode and you choose which city you want to play in, it starts in a pretty similar way. You're going to assemble your team of emergency services, which means police, fire services, and ambulances. But depending on what resources you have available, you're able to choose what equipment they have, what kind of vehicles they're driving, how many people are in each vehicle, and you can switch out the staff, hire more staff, and buy for them everything from SWAT rifles and bulletproof vests to bicycles to helicopters.
Even bicycles, yes.
Yeah. Then you go on to the city map, and most of the game is what you see behind us right now. It's a top-down 2D map of where the emergency services are. You're going to get calls and alerts about incidents around the city that require either police, fire, or medical services, or some combination of them.
But if you get a call and you answer it, there's actually a voice conversation where you get to choose which one to respond. So it's going to get more psychological this way.
The game actually informs you that in real life, about 75% of 911 calls can be ignored, but be very careful about ignoring too quickly because there might be more behind the call than first meets the ears. So choose your dialogue options carefully and then decide how you're going to send your emergency services. Make sure you don't get too overloaded because then there can be some big event like a natural disaster or a terrorist attack and you need all hands on deck.
And each mission is not usually long, takes 10 to 15 minutes depending if you pause the time. And at the end of each mission, you're gonna get a scoreboard where you see which things you did bad and you see all the details. And there are 4 difficulties to this game, where the last one is interesting, that is called Expert, and you cannot pause in this mode, and you get penalty for overtiming your police and everything workers.
Even if they're just working too long, you'll get a fine for that. And it's probably much more strict about if you ignored that guy with food poisoning, it might be much more likely that he dies in expert mode and you're responsible.
So this game can be quite tense, but the question is,
should you play it?
Should you answer it?
Should you help it?
Yeah,
should you serve it? Yeah, it's hard to say. But the first thing you should know is that this game is going to be completely free from the Epic Game Store. You will have 1 week to claim it starting September 14th, 2023. You add it to your library, it stays there forever, install it whenever you want, and that is what we do on this channel. Not expert answering of 911 calls. We are experts of playing and reviewing every free weekly game on the Epic Game Store. We've been doing it for about 4 years now. So subscribe and you will never have to be bored or hopefully call 911 ever again.
I think, Caleb, there's actually some useful tips and informations through the stories and through the calls you get, and you'll see how to solve it or how not to solve it, because you're gonna see the progression if, like, from somebody calls the police on a neighbors might turn out in a homicide. So
possible.
You're gonna also learn in tutorial, especially how to do CPR and those useful things that we should know anyway. But the game is very simple. There's just this map and it can get very repetitive very easily. The first playthrough is great, but every other, I would say, fades a little bit because you get same calls, same times all over again. So this is not bad a game. It's good for free. It's good for one try. I don't think it's great to buy full price or to have so much fun in it. But yeah, since it's free, try it, play it. You should try it at least for one time.
I didn't expect you to say that. I expected you to say that it gets pretty repetitive
Yeah.
and therefore you shouldn't play it.
I have stopped after like few hours, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed my few hours.
That's it. And that's actually, I'm going to stick to my story. That's exactly what I wanted to say, that it gets repetitive pretty quickly. But yeah, that first playthrough or two, it's very tense.
Yeah.
You feel like you're making very important decisions.
And you feel pressure.
Yeah, things can go bad really quickly. You feel the tension of deciding if people live or die, basically.
Unless you're psychopath.
Then you might enjoy like just ignoring everyone and seeing,
which is also a possibility.
watching the city burn down. You're going to get fined heavily, but this could be like more of a role-playing game. But it is in fact a simulator.
Yeah.
I usually don't like simulators. But this one, I enjoyed the time that we spent with it. And since it's free, I don't know how much I would pay for it. That's up to you, depending what you've heard so far. But since it's free, it's worth giving it a try. Even if it doesn't look like your type of game, I think to play for half an hour, and see if you want to play more, why not? It's free, and it's worth your time to at least give it a try.
Well, if you want to play more, there's actually DLCs to it as well.
Lots more equipment, like more maps. Yeah. And another game that we reviewed recently that is kind of similar with menus and choices and kind of deciding what happens with people's lives is Orwell, Keeping an Eye on You. So we reviewed that as well when it was free on the Epic Games Store. It's not free anymore, but you might be interested in that one as well. Check out the review and let us know in the comments if you're going to give 911 Operator a try. Stay tuned for more free games.
And hope to see you next time. Bye.
Bye.